This is Barnstable Today for Wednesday, January 14th. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford. And just a reminder that all the meetings we cover are available anytime you want to check them out on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
An emotionally charged special meeting of the school committee is our focus today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
Last night's town hall session ran nearly 5 hours, featuring 2 hours and 16 minutes of public comment, mainly opposing the closing of Hyannis East.
But before opening the meeting for comment, the Superintendent of Schools outlined what elements went into her plan to trim $6 million from the FY10 budget.
I think the number one question has been, how did you possibly make the recommendation for which school to close? And there is no single one black and white answer to that question. It is a conglomerate of factors, one looking at another, one looking at another, and many people have begun to challenge the logic of those, and I understand multiple perspectives and viewpoints. But these considerations came from the principals saying, these are the things we think you should look at. These are the things that we did take into consideration, some aspects more than others. But when we did the consideration for closures, we talked about the condition of buildings, the investment of maintenance in the past 5 years, the possible cohesiveness to the school building authority plan, demographics, cost of operations, student performance, buses serving the schools, district special ed programs, alternative use and resale, and choice situations. And so some schools sort of become, the process was that I looked at each and every school. Let me talk initially about the condition of buildings or the cohesiveness to the school building authority plan. The TAMS report, the McCready report, and the school building authority, which is a state organization that came down to assess the condition of schools, all identified Marston's Mills Elementary, Cotuit Elementary, Hyannis East Elementary, and Barnstable West Barnstable as facilities that were less fit than other facilities.
One of the elements of the budget cutting proposal that has raised some concern is moving the 8th graders into the high school building, which was addressed last night by BHS Principal Pat Graves.
I know people have some fears when they think about the 8th graders joining us, and first of all, I want to assure you, as Patty said, we would not be facing overcrowding. 5 or 6 years ago, we had 500 more students in our school than we do now, and we would be adding approximately 330 to 400 8th graders. I'm confident that we can create a very safe and comfortable environment for them. We had the 8th graders in our school 5 or 6 years ago, and we were able to give them their own wing, if that's what our planning committee actually intends to do. We're very much in the planning stages, but I'm very excited, as Grace is, as many of my staff members are, about the possibilities. Many staff members have spoken to me either individually or in meetings over the last month or few weeks about their excitement about the opportunities for enhanced academic opportunities for the 8th graders, but in a very controlled environment. I've also spoken to some of our upperclassmen. We had some wonderful students from the middle school join us in a group of staff today, and they keep bringing up the question, are we going to be welcomed by the upperclassmen? And I want to ensure them publicly. I've met with some of our upperclassmen, and they're already thinking about how to make them feel comfortable and welcomed.
Many of the speakers last evening focused on what they see as the special nature of Hyannis East.
Good evening. My name is Rod Cartosi, and I am the health and physical education teacher at Hyannis East Elementary School. I'm here, once again, to advocate for keeping the location of Hyannis East up and operating. Before I speak to that, and in the interest of clarity and propriety, I wish to state that at no time, neither in any of my comments of last Tuesday, nor during those of tonight, do I mean to imply that Dr. Grenier's recommendations were not intended for the good of all the population of the Barnstable School District, and that this committee will act upon those recommendations with the same best intentions, no matter the result, I have no doubt. I have often enough been witness of the true commitment and well-meaning attitude toward our students of both Dr. Grenier and this committee, and do not doubt in the final analysis their positive motivation. I will mention again, though, that too often in history, however well-meant the actions of authority happen to be, the segment of the population most adversely impacted by those actions is the very one that can tolerate their effects the least. And therein lay the roots of my disagreement with the recommendation to close Hyannis East. I realize that all of the members of our district believe in and feel genuine love and loyalty for their respective schools, and rightly so, for they are all truly worthy. In my 15 years here in Barnstable, I have taught in 6 of those schools, including Hyannis West Elementary. During that time, however, I have come to know that both the location and the nature of the daily operation of the Hyannis East campus are uniquely crucial ones for a significant sector of our society. Crucial for so many boys and girls and their families within this district, incomparable needs. This school and its setting provide correspondingly incomparable services.
As the clock pushed toward midnight, School Committee Chair Ralph Cahoon wrapped things up.
If you assume some of these other pieces fall into place with the restructuring by grades, the movement around in the western part of town, and then you get to the issue of Hyannis East, and if not Hyannis East, then what, which I've tried to make my big question for the last few weeks. I mean, basically, I think it comes down to you're not closing Centerville. It's too big. There's too many programs there. So your other option, assuming there's 4 schools in the western part of town are moving around, you close West or you close BWB. And, I mean, that would be, if not Hyannis East, then what do we do? I think it comes down to you either close West or BWB. And, what would be the benefits and detriments of either of those in place of Hyannis East? But we're closing schools. That's a given. I think it's pretty clear that Marston's Mills and Katuitt, being the 2 smallest, most cost-ineffective schools, seem to be more likely than any other buildings to go first and second. And what's going to be number 3? So if you don't want to do Hyannis East, then I think we're pretty much limited to West and BWB. So if there's people out there that are, as you said earlier, Fran, give people a chance to respond that haven't been here tonight because it hasn't slapped them in the face yet.
The school committee did not vote on the plan last night and set another special meeting for next Tuesday. Right now it looks as if it will be a night auditorium at the high school at 7, although the venue could change.
Meanwhile, keep in mind that we could only scratch the surface of last night's meeting, and if you'd like to see the entire session, you can catch it on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
On the meeting schedule, tonight at 6, it's the Planning Board in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Then at 7, it's the ZBA in the hearing room.
And finally, tonight, it's Old Kings Highway meeting in the West Barnstable Community Building at 7. The meeting schedule is empty tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.